You're still watching Nile International. Welcome to Arab Affairs that bring you the latest happenings in the Arab region and the Middle East. And we start off with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met Saturday with Su Hongsang, chairman of China's Henan Jinzhou, affiliated with Henan Yulin Energy Group, to review plans for a major aluminum production complex in East Port Said's industrial zone with the Suez Canal Economic Zone. The proposed project, with investments estimated at $2 billion, was discussed in the presence of Deputy Prime Minister for Economic Affairs Hussein Isa and Suez Canal Chairman Walid Gamal al-Din. In the meeting, Madbouli welcomed Chinese delegation, describing the company as a global leader in aluminum manufacturing and reaffirming the government's full support for the project in line with Egypt's strong focus on industrial development. For his part, Hongsang hailed Egypt's favorable investment climate and cemented the bilateral ties with China, noting that the company exports to over 130 clients across 45 countries. He described the project as a strategic step to expand the company's global industrial footprint, underscoring confidence in Egypt's market potential, particularly within the Suez Canal zone. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdulati said he is looking forward to upcoming negotiations in Pakistani capital Islamabad between the U.S. and Iran to be fruitful and will contribute to decreasing escalation. This came during two phone calls Foreign Minister Abdulati held with Italian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani and German Chancellor, Foreign Minister Juan Wadful. Minister Abdulati briefed both Italian and German counterparts on Egypt's intensive efforts during the latest period to contain the escalation in the region in coordination with regional partners. The top diplomat also stressed during the two phone calls on the priority of diplomatic path and the negotiations while dealing with the current situation. He affirmed the importance of unifying regional and international efforts in this critical phase to guarantee a sustainable ceasefire. Abdulati also renewed Egypt's full condemnation to Israeli aggression on different parts in Lebanon. An Iranian delegation met Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif in Islamabad on Saturday ahead of talks with the U.S. aimed at ending the war in the Middle East. Confirming the sit-down, Iran's state broadcaster added arrangements for the Iran-U.S. will be defined at the conclusion of their meeting. More details coming up. Iran's delegation arrived in Pakistan for ceasefire negotiations with the U.S. as Tehran insisted on a truce in Lebanon and release of its blocked assets for the talks to go ahead. Despite temporary truce struck between the foes, deep disagreements remain as the way to forward talks aimed at transforming the fragile ceasefire into a lasting peace deal. Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif said, although a temporary ceasefire had been announced, making progress would be hard to work. Iranian state television said delegation was led by Parliamentary Speaker Mohammad Bahgar Ghalibaf and reiterated Iran's position that talks would only begin if Washington accepts its preconditions, a Lebanon ceasefire and an unfreezing of Iran's assets. Official sources says the talks in Islamabad will cover several sensitive points, including Iran's nuclear enrichment and the free flow of trade through the crucial oil conduit, the Strait of Hormuz. Since the ceasefire took effect, U.S. President Donald Trump has voiced displeasure at Iran's handling of the strait, which was meant to be reopened, while Tehran has reacted angrily to the continuing Israeli attacks on Lebanon. Fifth of the world's oil and vast quantities of natural gas and fertilizer pass through the Strait of Hormuz in peacetime, but only a small amount of vessels have crossed since the truce was announced earlier this week.